What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. For those that don't know, my name is Alina Smith. I'm a producer and writer for projects like ITZY, Red Velvet, My Teenage Girl, Produce 101, Fall Out Boy, Betty Who, and many others. And today I'm going to be doing a production walkthrough with you guys. I do those occasionally, showing you guys songs that I've produced. So this song today is called Moody. This is a song I wrote and produced for myself as an artist. I would just classify this as general pop, maybe pop R&B. I can't really give you guys an artist name of who this sounds like. I think it's just what I wanted, so it sounds like me. I wasn't really modeling this after any artist. I think it has slight new disco elements, so maybe like Dua Lipa-ish vibes. The vocal, I wrote, produced it, and processed it for me specifically for my voice, so I wasn't modeling it again after anything or anybody. But I do think this track has a lot of really cool techniques, so I'm excited to show it to you guys. And without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, guys, as always, I'm just gonna go through this and show you all the parts. So let's start with the intro. So I will be honest, I really struggled with that main synth element in this intro and the verse, mostly because I wrote this song to a loop, which is something I never do anymore. Like splice loops are pretty much off limits to me as far as I'm concerned for writing to, because other people have access to them, right? Like I use them a lot for accents, for drums, for things that are sort of like universal, but I really try not to write to any chord progressions and like specific sounds that are on splice and guitar, especially, like because somebody else could literally create a song to the same thing. So I sort of encourage you guys to think about that as well, especially if you're a professional, because you don't want the record label you're pitching a song to receive the exact same thing, written to the exact same loop. So yes, I basically had this loop. I believe it's this, and it's still in here. It's just kind of turned down. Yeah, and I've also processed it just a little bit. It's very like naturally kind of crunchy, which I like. For certain genres that wouldn't be appropriate for me. I like it. So I kept a little bit of it in here, and then I've layered it with this vocal synth in here, which is actually just my own vocal. It's pulling in the chords from this MIDI track, but if you turn it off, it's literally just like some random vocal of mine from another session cut up, and then when these chords are applied to it, it's cool. I have Super VHS here from Baby Audio, adding a little bit of heat, I think. I have vinyl. You guys know I love this plugin. Hello? Without it's a little bit brighter, a little bit just more vintage. With it on, just some gain. A really strange EQ that sort of looks like a butt crack. I'm not gonna lie. It's straight up a butt. But yeah, I'm taking off a lot of the top end because vocal synth can be quite bright. So yeah, without that, it's, there's more top end, and I didn't really want the top end for this. So yeah, this is probably one of the hardest parts of the song, is just me trying to like mostly get rid of that loop. Yeah. And then I have just, very simple effects here, like this wind up. I've used this particular sound in probably 50 songs in the last year. You guys know I reuse and recycle quite often in my productions. I got just like a kind of a scream splice sample. I'm pretty sure the sample was a lot brighter though to start off with, and I just kind of messed it up to be that kind of distorted, more aged vibe, which is a lot of what I did in this song. Actually, I liked things a little bit hotter, a little bit crunchier, a little bit more aged in the song. That was just the vibe. Yeah, as you can see, it's a lot just brighter and more modern sounding until we do all of this. Oh, I like that. I like that. Not like tooting my own horn, but it's funny when I haven't looked at elements of a song for months and then I pull them up again and I'm like, yeah, yeah. We have this as well. Basically just a loop that I've processed to take off its bottom end because there's a kick in there. You can hear a kick and a snare, and I just didn't want those. I wanted it to be that very like, oh, there's something really tiny going on percussion wise, but it isn't in your face, you know. So I think that's accomplishing that in the way that I intended it to. And then transitioning into the verse, we have this clap fill. You guys know I like to construct a lot of my drums. I won't just like take, you know, one sample and be like, that's good enough. So a lot of my fills, if you look at a lot of my sessions, there are groups like this where I just like layer stuff until it sounds right to me. Yeah, again, I'm like writing the decapitator here, you know, and distorting it just a touch. It makes it sit in the mix a little bit more aggressively. You guys know this plugin. I use this plugin on every drum you could think of. Maybe not kicks, but like a lot of percussion, snares get hit with this all the time. I like my drums. This is my style, you know. I like them to be really like snappy. I don't like lethargic drums. That's not a vibe for me. Sometimes like a more blurred sort of drum can work, but that's just not my style, you know. So I always use that to increase the attack of everything. So yeah, let's listen to the verse. Smiling through the memories of all the shit that tried to take me down. Ego took some big hits, but I rose up just to grow up. Yeah, baby. I love this song. It's like I was feeling silly hyping myself up and being like, I love this. But I do feel like that a lot with songs like this, like not to deviate too much, you guys, but when I wrote this, it was pretty much like channeled to me. I wrote this in maybe 2 hours tops to that loop. And, you know, I had like a very, very basic track, but it was basically this track, like that bass rhythm, those drums, and, you know, and then I just like elevated the whole thing and made it a real production. But a lot of the times I work quite differently when it's me by myself. I have a lot of confidence as a producer, so I know I can take it to where it needs to go later. I focus more on like, do I even like the song? And this song, like as soon as I wrote that hook, I was like, this is for me. This means so much to me lyrically. It feels musically like me, and I was just so excited about writing it, and I'm still so excited, to be honest. It's rare. A lot of the times I get kind of tired of my own songs, like even if I really loved them in the beginning, like Breakfast, I'm Looking at You. I know y'all love that song, and that's probably my most popular song, but I'm a little bit sick of that song. You know, it's something a little bit trendy about it, which is not a bad thing at all. But a song like this, it's a little bit more classic sonically. I think I will love this song for a long time. So, okay, now that I'm done like simping over myself, let's actually look at what's in here. So this is a live bass. My friend Scott Brusnak played it. Shout out Scott. He also played some guitars on this. I'm not an electric player, so thank you so much for lending your talent to my project and my work. I played this bass originally with a MIDI bass. I don't have it, I've deleted it, but it was basically this exact same pattern, and I knew I used like a fake electric from Chile, and I knew I wanted to replace it with a real player, so I did. And this, I would say musically, is probably the most important part of like this whole production. This track lives with this bass, you know, so we really worked hard on it. I edited it? I hate saying that word in the past tense. Quite a bit. As you can see, this is a me thing, but I edit all the hits to be like perfectly on the grid. You do not have to do that. And some songs you shouldn't do that because they groove better if it's a little bit behind the beat. For this one, my perfectionist butt just wanted to make it perfect, so I did. As far as other elements, I only have one snare. So you guys, if you've watched my slightly older videos, you've seen these snare stacks that I sometimes do that are like 5, 6 snares making one. I still do that sometimes. For this, I just found something I liked and I stuck with it at the end. So, and I see I've re-downloaded this plugin. I basically bought a newer version, and this older version is now like not here. But transient shaping, this plugin is basically very similar to that Universal Audio transient designer one, except you can do it by like EQ range. You can just make the attack, let's say, increase the attack of like 200 hertz to 400 hertz, or decrease it. It's really, really cool. But yeah, basically the snare is just like a like little noise, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want like a snare. I believe I looked for it for a good while. I don't think I had that sound from the get-go, which is why I use MIDI now. If you look at my old sessions, I never used MIDI. I just like dragged wave files in, which is fine, but it's not as like intuitive, where, you know, if I just have the MIDI, I'm like, oh, I don't like the snare anymore. I can just drag in like 5 different ones in a row just to see if I like it, because in the context of the track, sometimes it sounds different than like in Splice, right? When it's soloed. So I recommend this just for ease and just your own sanity, you know. And I do have a snare accent on every 4th hit. Let's see what it is. I don't remember. Oh, okay. It's like a higher one. Oh, it's a snap. Oh, snap. I see. Yeah, I just wanted something in the higher range, right? And something that also had a little bit of a tail, because you can see there's a nice verb tail already in the sample, and this one is very like short. So just playing with that kind of dimensionality. And I do have my kicks. I have 2. Oh, no, I have 1. So it's basically 1 kick and then a top, which is a click. Oh, interesting. Interesting how I process this. Yeah, so together, you know, this one creates just like the clickiness that helps it cut through the mix. And this is just all pretty much lower end. You know, I'm using little laps. Wait, what is it actually called? It's called Voice of God. I just call it Vogue, like, because that's what I always type in the search when I look for it. And this is just like little like snake oil, like kind of secret sauce for making kicks or basses just like feel better in the subs. So I use that quite a bit. I did mix this. I hardly ever mix my own work. A lot of, well, no. You know what? It's half and half at this point. A year ago, I would have said hardly ever. Now I've gotten quite a bit better at mixing. My room is better tuned for mixing, so I can do it decently, or I guess well at this point. So my own music, I mix all of it, and some artist music, a lot of labels still hire outside mixers. So, but for me, I just don't like, feels like spending the money. So I mix it myself, and I like how I do it too, because I'm really like meticulous. So I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. You want it to sound a certain way, and if somebody just changes like one setting, you're like, what? I've had that happen with mixers where I'm like, don't be mad, and I still get really mad, even though it's like, oh, come on, they're just a person like following their instincts and what they want. But with my own artist stuff, I'm just like, I want it how I want it at the end, which is, you know, the prerogative of an artist, because when I work with everybody else, I'm just like, how may I serve you? You know, like the Lumiere, like from Beauty and the Beast. Like, I only live to serve, which is not, I guess, how a lot of producers are, but for me, I want the artist or the label to get what they want, so I'm there for them. But with my artist stuff, you can't tell me nothing. I do what I want. Okay, yeah, so I already showed you guys this vocal synth and this main synth. I do have some effects here. Oh, it's like a baby. It's a crying baby. I don't know why I wanted to put that in. It just felt good, like this little baby kid laughing. I said crying, and they're laughing, with just some verb on it. I don't know. Sometimes I just want weird things in my songs. Oh, interesting. See, I didn't even know that was in there. This is what happens to me when I look at my stuff like months later. I'm like, whoa, good job. I like that. Yeah, sometimes I'm very just intuitive. I find something. There's a common thing is I'm looking for one thing, and then I just hear something else. I go, I want that. And then I just use it in some way that wasn't pre-mediated. So that's one of those. Oh, I have a noise coming in with this, with a snare? With it? Let's see it. With every other one. Interesting. It's really subtle. You have to like really listen for it, but it's there. Let's see what else we've got here. No. just a tiny little 808 crash. I use these in like every song. That's like my favorite type of crash. It doesn't work on everything, and I'm pretty sure I have like regular acoustic crashes also in the song, but for like a verse, I wanted it to be a little more digital.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm better. Yeah, I'm better. That don't mean no days are good days. I'm better, but with effort. Show me some patience, 'cause
Y'all can tell I love this song. It's probably my favorite song for me as an artist. You don't have to agree. This is like my own personal, very personal opinion. The pre is really quite similar. I have this clap. It's like a motif. It comes in. I don't even know if it's proper to use motif on something non-melodic. It's like a drum hook almost. That dun dun dun. So I use it, like as you can see, consistently every 8 bars. The snare is there. Kicks are the same. What did I add that's new? Oh, honestly, I don't even... No, I did add something. I was like, I didn't add anything. I added this little bell, which is honestly also introduced, I forgot to show it to you in the intro. Okay, it's Omnisphere. I see. Yeah, it's just really me thinking about, oh, I need something up top, because a lot of this is really mid-rangey. My voice is, even though I really do like try to boost the high end of it, my voice is tricky to mix actually, for at least like my expertise and where I come from as a producer, because a lot of the singers I'm used to mixing are very, I don't know how else to say it, it's like a pointy voice. They're like, Elli's like that, my friend Giselle I work with on K-pop is like that. Their voices are just really like, they have a point to them. They already naturally cut through a mix. My voice is very wide. It's airy. It has a lot of width, which is, I like my voice. I'm not knocking my voice, but as like a mixer, it's always a bit of a challenge, and my voice has a lot of mids too. You can hear it in my speaking voice right now. Even though I boost the high end to make it cut a little bit better, you still hear my mids, my natural mids. So I try not to get rid of those. Obviously, we don't want to distort natural timbre of somebody's voice for myself or any other artist that I work with, but I do like the cut of like higher end, and I've showed this to you guys in other videos, but I'm not gonna make you look through my videos. Yeah, I basically like boost 10K more aggressively for my voice than I do for others. So yeah, that's basically that, and that thought came from this bell basically, which I keep thinking about for my own music, because everything is so MIDI, especially in the song. Like, okay, what do I need up there? And that is it.
show me some patience, 'cause I still got a lot of shit to recover from. Still carry all of the drama in my bones. I try, but you'll have to forgive me if I'm not 100 big Gucci, if I'm still a little bit moody.
So I have an 808 being introduced here, very low in the mix, and this is one of those things, right? Be careful with this. Do as I say, not as I do. I was careful with this. I'm kind of kidding. But when you have a bass with a lot of sub boosted, and you have a kick with a lot of sub boosted, and you have a sub, there is danger of overloading the sub frequencies for sure. And especially for those of you guys that don't have really good speakers, watch out, because you might overload it without realizing. So be careful with this type of technique, but I did do it because without it, it felt like the lower end on the chorus wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. So, and for me as an artist and as a producer, I just love the kind of smooth lower end frequencies an 808 brings as opposed to an electric bass. So I hid it under it. That's basically the point of that story. I do have a different snare for the chorus. This is a very intentional tactic on my part. I wanted that little on the verses because I didn't want the snare to really detract from the vocal. I didn't want it to feel too big, and I wanted it to build. And the way I think I accomplished this, I like it, is with this chorus snare, which is this. And it has an extra hit too, which I forgot about. It's one of the later things I added. Once I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, I like it. So, and you can tell even, I'm not going to freeze it, but Oliver, yeah, anything that's new disco-ish, which I think this, yeah, it is. I wouldn't call it new disco, but it's inspired by it track-wise. So, yeah, I have an Oliver snare. Their samples are just out of this world. So fantastic for pop and specifically new disco. I have a tambourine hit comes into. Yeah. It's on every fourth snare, so at the end of every 2 bars. Nice little touch, I think, again, just to keep building in a subtle way, not in some really super obvious way. Okay, I got like a nice little hey. This is a technique, if you watch me, you guys, I do this a lot. I throw random heys and yads into everything, because even if they're really quiet, it's just hype, you guys. It adds hype. I love this tom fill. This is probably like my favorite fill from the last year of my work, and I've made some good fills, but there's something about this one, and I don't even think I actually made it. I just processed it, and I use because it's a sample, and I think I just like cut it up to be the rhythm that I wanted. Something about this little like tom fill makes me feel so good. The roundness of it, I love it. Oh, I think I also, pretty sure I used like transposition to drop. These hits, lower in pitch, don't quote me on that though, because it might have come like that. I don't really remember. And as always, I'm just, I decreased the attack. Shoddy! I've never decreased the attack. I wonder what it sounded like without it. Now I have to hear it. What did it sound like without it? Okay, there's like a clicker in it. Gotcha. So this is such a good tool. For that, if you have UA stuff, I strongly recommend it. Very much so. Oh yeah, I have another kick top being added. Really? Why did I do that? Oh. I see. So this was actually just like a real drum hit, because this top is just a top. This one, it's literally a click I made. Oh no, it's not one I made. It's like one I downloaded. I'm pretty sure. But this one is just like a kick with all the lower end frequencies deleted, basically. And I'm using it as like a little bit of a crunch. Yeah, helps it cut through. Helps it cut. I have strings in here, which are all splice samples. Yay, splice. Yeah, this is where kind of the new disco comes in. I love these, and a very simple processing, spaced out. You guys know I use this verb a lot. Vinyl, you guys know I use that a lot. Free plugin from iZotope. Just little like kind of moments, bursts of these strings make me really happy, because you have to be careful with these things, right? Like if you listen with the top line, they're not stepping on the top line. They're kind of in holes between vocals. Or it's not necessarily a hole, but it's a quiet vocal, it's one note. It's not like I'm melodically moving around, so it makes sense that it goes underneath it. So yeah, what else do we have here? We have a pad. I wish I could tell you what I made that with. I don't remember. I'll be honest, you guys. I don't remember. It's probably Diva. Diva is like my favorite synth plugin. You could see I'm adding a bit of bit crushing. Bit crushing is something I've gotten fairly recently into. Just little touches of it helps it be, I don't know. I like distortion. I like dirty, like synths. Sounds like weird, but I like that kind of also just high end frequency that it introduces, because check it out. It's a different ball game, and that kind of little higher end buzz, it registers in the mix, which I like. And then we have more of that little bell, taking care of the higher end frequencies. First, we have another bell that comes in. This is pretty much just a classic glockenspiel. I've printed it. I'm pretty sure this was Omnisphere, and I had verb on it. That was either part of the patch or I added it. I don't remember. Oh, this is cool. Really subliminal, because it's not that loud, but it's actually from our splice pack, LYRE. And so it says, oh yeah, it's Elli. I didn't realize Elli was on this song. Yay, Elli! Yeah, it's just like a sample of her, maybe Her and Me. I don't know, that sounds like just her going I, and I just tucked it in right there. It just adds like that subtle emphasis on the first beat of the chorus, which is very important. You do this with different techniques, one of which is a crash, you know, super common. Yeah, like I said, this is the acoustic crash. And then there's the 808 one. Pretty cool. I have a live acoustic type hat here. I have another one. Oh, it's tambourine. Okay, I invite you to pay attention. These hats sit in the middle, but listen to this tambourine. See how widely spread it is. You know what I mean? It's very intentional. The hat is specifically, like I placed it in the middle. There wasn't a lot of competing stuff at that frequency, so I just left it there. The tambourine is just like spread to hell. I actually use the plugin Spread from Yum Audio, which I like. I low-key like it better than the iZotope one, the Imager, sorry. Just a little, something like about the colors. Like they do the same thing, but I just like it better. Yeah, and you can see it's spreading the higher end frequencies a little bit more. And of course, also this loop was just wide. And that's a lot of too, like for me, my philosophy, just find the right thing, right? Like either find the right patch or create the right patch or find the right loop. Because if it's already right, like you just need to tweak it. You don't have to change it to make it something it's not. So we got this. Shout out to Scott. Thank you for playing that guitar. I'm just playing with placement. Put it a little bit more on the sides with this center plug-in. Oh, look at me. Okay, I'm spreading the lower mids. I remember trying to place this guitar because I realized I really liked it. It was like an important instrument to feature. As you can see, without it, it's a big difference.
I still got a lot of shit to recover from. Still carry all of the drama in my bones.
So I wanted it, but I didn't want it to like stand out. Funny enough, I wanted the frequencies of it because it just added that like lower mid like bass for the song. Not like bass the instrument, but like the bass. But yeah, that's why I just really cranked the lower mids on it really, and I like that it's blurry. I like that it isn't gra 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 like very like attacky, I guess. I like that it's more just there. Oh yeah, there's something there, but you're not sure exactly what. Because nothing wrong with an attacky guitar. Again, just for this song, it's all about the vocal for me, and the guitar just is there to support it, but not to be featured. Yeah, that's honestly kind of like it. Like I add a couple more other things, but I know this video is already like, I think it's pretty long already because I just won't stop talking. You guys know this. And yeah, I just want to look at this bit, this like B chorus at the end. This is the biggest part of the track. So I want to see what I did.
I got some healing left to do. I got salt to pick out of wounds. I tried, you'll have to forgive me if I'm not 100 because you felt still a little bit.
I love this part. Basically, we just add a string section, which, where you at, honey? It's not even one of my bigger tracks, and I still get lost, even though everything's like color-coded, which is why I do color-coded, because I tend to get lost regardless. Oh, you know what? I think I was fibbing a bit. I thought there was a string section added, but no, it's just this tension violin. It sounds like a string section because like if you take, even outside of the guitars, which are green, right? But the purple things, it's all just synths, tonal things. If you just solo this, there's a lot going on. It almost sounds like a string section. Because I still have that, all the disco strings. Yeah, it sounds like there's more strings than there are. It's really just that one tension. These things that I showed you, and this little bit. I think that I did not play this. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can see by the name. I think it's just a sample I've like really seriously repitched. I don't think it did that melody at all, but I took every note and like melodized it, or just used like Ableton's tuning to make it the melody that I wanted. And this is, it's like a kind of a melodic part that stands out. So I didn't use it too much in the track because I didn't want, again, to take away from the vocals. So yeah, you know, that tension string adds a bunch. We have the guitars. We also have another part, which is this rhythmic part that comes in, which really adds a lot of surprise, surprise rhythm to this part. Interesting. Yeah, I remember Scott gave me just like lots of different guitar parts that he felt might be good somewhere in the song, right? And I just like flew them around and cut them and processed them. So this one, I just ended up adding a lot of reverb, and I was like, oh, I think this just could be just like sparingly used in moments. A lot of my producing style is like something comes in, but I don't really know what it is. It's just like a little bit of just touches of things added intentionally, like, oh, I need this for width, I need this for the lower mids, I need this for that specific note. So a lot of the times it's kind of subliminal, just my style. I want to take a look at this too. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Oh, I see what I did. I actually used addictive drums, which I don't use that often, but I think I specifically heard this like snare build, whoosh. So it makes sense, you know, it's to basically that combined with a fill from Splice that I've cut up. Yeah, and that's honestly kind of it. I take things, pull things in, pull things out throughout the track. You know, if you really listen, you can find those bits. But that's really kind of it. The last thing I'm going to show you guys are the vocals. I'm going to just jump straight to that B chorus though, because that's the most like large part of the song. I'll mute the track now and let you hear it soloed.
I got some healing left to do. I got salt to pick out of wounds. I tried, you'll have to forgive me if I'm not 100 big Gucci, if I'm still a little bit moody.
Okay, so how do you create that? First of all, like a ton of background vocals, and especially those I tried, those parts that come in and out. There actually isn't a lead, believe it or not. So there's doubles, you know, this is the main melody.
I got.
Yeah.
I got.
I see. And then these do this.
I got.
There, I just made another video on this, so actually remember there's 6 parts here, so it's 12 total, 2 of each. And you know, when I create these, it's not like any kind of really premediated, like I'm not doing math in my head of like, oh, I need to do a 5th, I need to do a 7th flat. Like I just go up the scale and see if it sounds good with the track. You know, you just start with the tonic, go 3rd up, 5th up. Like I don't think about it too much. People do ask me a lot, like, how do you create harmonies? And like, it's instinctive. If I get really sort of lost, which happens every once in a while with a really interesting song, like when it's really interesting harmonically, that's when I can rely on theory and actually be like, okay, what do I need? Like pull up a keyboard, but most of the time it's just, I hear things. So yes, we have doubles. We have these big stacks with no lead, and then the lead comes in the holes, right? So we've got the big lead in the middle. Yeah. So, and then there's a few other things, like there's this hype type of stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Ariana Grande moment, you know. I like things like that for my style and a lot of styles I produce. Just it adds something without you realizing. It's like adding a lot of like energy. When you take it away, something like, oh, what is missing? You might not even know what is missing, but you know something is. And yeah, that's kind of, you know, a lot of this type of stacking here on the post. I really like these harmonies that they're, I don't know if they are necessarily counter melodies. They are sort of like in the holes between the lead. I'll let you hear it.
Moody, moody, moody. About to roll my eyes, hide in the bed and cry. You gotta love me.
You know, because my vowels here are hide in the bed and cry. I'm doing I kind of
Roll my
vibes.
eyes, hide in the bed.
And whenever I'm doing eyes, I might be. It's one of those things I wasn't gonna do a bunch of S's and then be like on the background vocals. So I think I'm just doing I. But it works really well with eyes and cry in the top line. So, and you guys know this is like a very common technique for me to do these like very breathy, some of them higher pitched kind of vocals. Yeah, I'm using spaced out here a bit, like I'm deviating from my usual Valhalla routine. Look at me. Shoddy is stepping out of her comfort zone. I'm just kidding. Usually I use that with use Valhalla Vintage Verb or Valhalla Shimmer for that type of thing, but this is also a really good plugin for that. So, and yeah, basically, you know, I do have pretty tight doubles in a lot of places, especially the choruses. They're not very loud, as you can see by looking at this. You know, they're turned down like 18 dBs, which is really cool. Because together, this almost doesn't even sound like doubles plus lead. It kind of sounds like one wide vocal.
I still got a lot of shit to recover from.
You know, and of course we've got like verbs going on, we've got delays going on, so all together just makes it sound thicker, which is what I like for this type of vocal, you know. Yeah, and as far as background vocals in the first chorus, second chorus, I really just have like sparing things come in.
I still got a lot of shit to recover from. Still carry on.
Yeah, I'm just emphasizing still gotta, still carry, because it just didn't feel like the kind of song that needed like a throughout like vocal underneath. Still gotta, la da 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 da. It didn't feel like it needed that, so I just did these little stabs.
Still gotta.
Yeah. So yeah, and a lot of little throws going on in here as well, like this type of thing. Very small little like ad libs. They're verby. They kind of sit on the sides a lot of the times. Not very noticeable. You know.
Better, but with effort. Show me some.
Again, there's not necessarily like super premeditated rhyme and reason to how I choose to do these things. A lot of the times I just hear it and put it in, and it adds that dimension to it. So I encourage you guys to play around with these types of throws. Sometimes they are ad libs like I showed, but sometimes they're literally just copies of the lead. I love that. That was an ad lib. I'm trying to find one that's just literally like I copied the lead to make it sound verbier. That I do that quite a bit. Yeah, and of course we have all these like hype that I showed you guys before, like yeah, all right, you guys. So, and this is pretty much it. This is how I produced this song. If you have any questions below, make sure you ask them in the comments. As always, if you like this video, please give it a like, because that really helps the channel. And you know, I myself forget all the time with creators that I watch, and then I always have to remind myself, hey, you gotta like it, because it helps them. So yeah, if you would like to do that, I would appreciate that. And on that note, I'm gonna go, you guys. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.